Do you love waking up at 6 a.m. every day? Do you love working all day? Maybe you love traffic. Maybe you love driving home very slow, listening to the sounds of horns and a bunch of angry people. If so, then this video is not for you. Because me, personally, I hated that, so I changed that. And I'm here to tell you that you can do the exact same thing, and I'm gonna show you how. Now at this point, you might be saying to yourself, I've been trying for weeks, months, and maybe even years, and I still am not profitable. Still waking up at 6 a.m. and I'm still coming home at 8 p.m. and just barely having enough time to watch, a few Forex videos, watch a couple of shows you like, and then you're back to bed, back up, going to the exact same job, working the exact same thing again, and honestly looking to the future as that for the rest of your life. Like nobody wants, and I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. I was in the exact same place. You can get out of that. You just have to know the right information. Now the thing about Forex is it's so crowded with all this nonsense and false information. And to be honest, it's crowded with a lot of It can be hard to know what's right and what's wrong. And the hardest part is knowing what to believe. And I know, I've been there. But now I can tell you what's right and what's wrong. So today I'm gonna show you how you can get from your 9 to 5 to going full-time in Forex. So you're at step 1 right now. You have a job, you dislike the 9 to 5 or whatever time frame you work. And I don't blame you. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb that we have to work our entire lives slaving away just to retire when we're 65 so we can enjoy our life then. And then we've got arthritis, we can't really travel as well, can't really move our bodies like we used to. So obviously it's gonna be a lot harder to enjoy the life that you want to enjoy when you're young. Like we're in our prime now. I mean, if you're between the ages of let's say 20 and even up to 40, you still got a lot of prime in you. So we should use this time now to figure out how to optimize our lives so we can have more time, work less, and make even more money. And I want to help you achieve that. So I'm going to start by telling you the wrong ways to achieve this. These are some things you might see on other YouTube videos or books or articles or websites, whatever it is. These are some things that I've seen over my years of becoming profitable and things that I still see that honestly is a lot of false information out there, and I'm going to show you what not to do. So first thing I'm going to tell you, and for some of you this might honestly be a little bit heartbreaking depending on what your situation is, but you're going to need a lot of capital. And there's no way around this. You could get lucky, you could do some gambling with your money and try to, flip it into a big amount of money. But 99% of the time, it's not gonna work. You have to get really lucky to do that. A lot of the traders out there who are showing how they're making, $100,000 to $100,000, it's just not possible. You can get really, really, really lucky, but I'd say probably only 1 out of a million people can get that lucky to not lose and get up to that amount. It's just like, it's highly unlikely. It's like winning the lottery. So the biggest thing is you need to see Forex as business. And some businesses, for example, only require you to have, $100 to $1,000 to start the business. But if you have a business like this, let's say you have, a lawn mowing business and you buy a couple lawnmowers and you hire a couple people to go and mow some lawns, you don't need as much capital to start it, but what you do need is a lot of time. So in those more physical businesses, you're going to need to sacrifice a lot of time for money. But the thing about Forex is that within the Forex world, you're going to be trading money for money. Time doesn't necessarily equal as much as the money that you have. So obviously time is good because that's what grows your account. But for example, with a lawn mowing business where you only need, let's say, $500 to start it, that will probably make you, over the year, let's say 20 to 30K if you put in enough time. But let's say Forex, you start with a $500 account, you're not going to make 20 to 30K over the next year. You'll probably only make like $500. So within Forex, how much money you start your business with is generally how much you're going to aim to make over the next couple of years. So basically, to replace your job with Forex, I'm going to tell you in a minute, just after this quick break here. If you're looking for a great broker to use, and especially if you're looking to get started trading and you have some capital to spare, a great broker I highly would recommend using is Hanko Trade. Hanko Trade has great spreads, great leverage, and you can sign up and make an account with them super easy, super fast. And also, if you're not looking to trade capital right away, a good thing to do is actually start using demo with them. That way you can actually start seeing if you have the profitability that you need to actually take Forex full time. I highly recommend them. For a lot of my accounts, I do use Hanko Trade, and especially as you go full time, you're going to want to have a broker that you want to trust and use. And for me, that's Hanko Trade. I will put the link down in the description below if you want to sign up with them. So now you might be asking, how much money do I actually need to start trading Forex or to actually replace your job? So to answer that, you need to figure out how much money you make per year with your job. And this will be before taxes. So let's say before taxes you make $50,000. Well, if you want to trade full time, you need to double that amount. So let's say you have a 50K account, you're gonna double that, that's $100,000. So if you want to trade Forex full time, with the amount to replace the amount of money you're making right now at your job, you need to have about $100,000. And this is because you can expect to make about a 50% gain over the entire year if you're trading with proper risk management and you're doing very strict risk management. You can expect to make around 50% of your capital per year. Sometimes, see, now this is where a little bit of variance comes into play, because some years you might make 100%, some years you might only make 30%, some years you might make 50% right on the dot. But overall, if we were to take this and stretch it over, a 10-year period, it's gonna average out to about being 50%. So keep in mind that whatever you wanna make, you need at least double that. Okay, now the third thing you really wanna pay attention to and you really wanna make sure you're not doing is you really wanna make sure that you're not quitting your job after a little bit of success. You can get lucky and you can have some things go your way for a couple months, and then for the next 5 months after that, it could happen to where you make no money at all. And then you quit your job and you're struggling for money. You want to make sure you're at least having 4, 5, 6 months of consistent profitability, and that is a strict trading plan, and that you're not just randomly trading, randomly guessing or gambling. If you can nail down 6 months of consistent profit, making 5 to 10% every month with a strict trading plan, strict strategy, then okay, for the next couple years after that should still remain the same. Over 6 months, things aren't going to change too much. Now over a month, you can have a month where you get really lucky, really profitable. And 1 month could go to where none of your trades are working. So you want to make sure at least over a 5-6 month period that this is working out for you. Now the next thing is you will not become a millionaire over the next year, over the next 2 years, over the next 3 years. Just because you learn how to trade doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire all of a sudden. Just because you don't work a 9 to 5 doesn't mean you have a private jet. You're not going to see yourself on a yacht in the next couple of years. Like I said, we're building a business. And before we can be a millionaire, our business has to at least make $1 million worth of money. And that's $1 million worth of money that we haven't spent, that we haven't got rid of. So if you think about that, going back to what I said earlier, if you wanted to become a millionaire, within a year, you would probably have to at least make $1 million within that year. And to make $1 million, you'd have to have about 2 million of capital. So if you have 2 million of capital, then yes, you will be able to be a millionaire within the next year. And that's also without spending all your money. So realistically, if you want to become a millionaire within the next year, you probably would have to have at least $3-4 million in capital. And if you have that, good for you. But if you don't, you're not going to be a millionaire right away. So yes, that goal is possible, but not overnight. Now, I'm going to tell you what you want to do if you want to change your 9 to 5 to Forex. This is things that you can do and the things that you should do. First thing is Forex is not guaranteed income. It's not, and that reality can be very scary at sometimes. Now, let's say your rent comes out in a week, you have no money in your bank, you're trading Forex. You can't guarantee that you'll have that money within a week. Now, the scary fact is that this next week could be a losing week coming up. I have losing weeks. Now, what I don't have really is losing months. So you gotta look at Forex as a monthly thing. It's definitely not a short-term thing. It's not a day thing. It's not a week thing. So, if there's something you wanna buy within a week, you can't really expect to buy it within a week. You gotta look long-term Forex. So the biggest key, if you want to switch out your 9 to 5 for Forex, is having some sort of guaranteed income. Whether that could be a savings account, some sort of emergency fund, could even be, a spouse or significant other that has some sort of guaranteed income, so you're not the only thing that's relied on. So at least if you have some money saved up, that aside for that, let's say you have a losing 2 weeks in a row that you're losing, you got no money and your rent's coming out, at least you have that money that's set aside where you can then use that to pay for your rent, for whatever you need for your bills. And then at the end of the month, when you find your profitability, then you can always replace that money, put some more money in your bank, whatever it is. But you cannot rely strictly on that. So you need to make sure you have some sort of guaranteed income or some sort of guaranteed money set aside that you can use. Next thing is kind of just, it's not necessary, but something that I would like to do. So the next thing is to not tell anyone about Forex right away. So don't tell your family members, don't tell your friends. Obviously you can tell people who are very close to you, but don't go around telling everyone that you're a full-time Forex trader, that you're trying to be. It can be a lot of pressure, you know, knowing that people know that you're doing this full-time or trying to trade full-time. And it can also be some sort of social pressure as well as, you know, the mental pressure and the financial pressure. You don't want all your friends or family knowing that you're risking, you know, not this guaranteed income and you're trading, and let's say you have a really bad losing month, you can't pay your rent, you know, you also have that pressure of everyone around you knowing that you're trading. It's just another pressure that you don't want. You're also gonna have a lot of people trying to ask you how to do it, how to get into it, and you want to be pretty focused until you can get it down. It's kind of like, I can relate it to how, you know, when Bitcoin was going up, you know, I was telling all my friends I'm investing in Bitcoin, and now they're all laughing in my face because Bitcoin's pretty down. And you know, if I just never said anything in the first place, I wouldn't have had that extra pressure on me. And now I have something for my friends to tease me about. That's all right. Now, obviously, the next thing is you have to have a very consistent strategy, a consistent trading plan. You can't just be sporadically trading. You don't want to be trading randomly, because then everything is relied on luck and variance. You want to make sure it's a very strict thing, because if you're trading a very strict plan for the next 6 months, then you know you can be profitable. You have to know that you can be profitable. You can't just feel or guess that you're going to be profitable. You have to know for sure, because income and finance is not something to just mess around with and hope for the best. Like, you've got to make sure you're set. And lastly, the last thing I'm going to say is try to create more than you consume. And what I mean by that is, let's say for 5 hours a day, you're watching YouTube videos. Try to at least have a balance where for 5 hours a day, you're also creating your own strategy, creating new confirmations for your strategy, just make sure that you're actually in the driver's seat more than you're watching other people be in the driver's seat, kind of thing. Because you have to get that hands-on experience. You have to learn for yourself. Easy to watch people for them to tell you what to do. You know, we live in a world where there's a lot of things out there for us to consume, a lot of information, and especially in the Forex world, a lot of that information is crowded with nonsense. It can be easy to fall trap to that, so you don't want that to happen to you. So try to create at least a balance in there where you're creating as much as you're consuming. So let's say you come home for an hour, back test the charts, create more confirmations, create more experience for yourself, but then also maybe watch an hour of experience. Make sure you're not watching like 99% of your day and then only creating 1% of your day. Make sure you are creating, because at the end of the day, I at least assume most of my audience are humans, and humans are very smart and they can learn a lot from their own experiences. And if you're a robot, then I don't know, you're probably a billionaire by now. So other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. This was just kind of a quick thing to help you, and hopefully you learned something out of this.